All right, and hello everybody. Thank you for being patient with us over the past couple of weeks. I'm happy to say that we are all set in regards to our sound. Make sure that you guys are having a sound here. I think you are. Let me make sure here. Just to be safe, um, somebody head into Twitch and make sure that you guys are hearing more than just me.
Yep. Sounds good to me.
Okay, so it's picking up you guys too? All right, we're good. All right, excellent. So, we'll go over a couple of quick announcements, and then I will head us into the game, give us a recap. I'll have you guys do introductions for your characters and yourselves, and then we'll head back into it. So, first thing for the announcements, I was kind of starting to get into it, so I just kind of wanted to thank everybody for their patience. I was having some sound issues. They're a brand new stream, so those things do happen, as I'm told. But I've got myself some fresh equipment, so hopefully we won't be running into that in the future. As to any other major pieces, nothing huge, but I did want to give a shout out to a friend of the stream. So there's a new business, an associate of mine or an acquaintance, I guess would be a better way of saying it, off of TikTok that has just recently started a business. I wanted to give them a shout out as being spectacular dice makers. I don't know if my camera's going to pick it up all that well, but this belongs to Harvest Man Dice on Etsy. You can follow them onto TikTok as well. And they make spectacular dice. This was I was playing a game over the weekend, and this thing was rolling phenomenally. This particular one is a warlock dice. If you can see, there's little tiny tentacles inside of it, and it does glow in the dark. And then this one is labeled his Lucifer dice. It's got a little tiny black feather in it. For me, it's my Raven Queen dice for whenever I'm making you guys do death saves. But otherwise, I wanted to give a quick shout out for them and help them get their business a little bit off the ground. A small time creator's got to stick together. At least I'm a solid believer in that. As to moving forward with other things, I am looking forward to just kind of getting things now underway. Still working on making my Twitch stream a little bit prettier, but I'm going to be working with somebody soon to help me make sure our display looks a little bit more clean and professional. So hopefully within the next couple sessions, we'll be able to look a little bit better than what we do now. Not that we look bad, it's just we could be prettier. Why not be prettier? Alright, I believe that's all that I have off the bat for announcements. What I'll have you guys do is just do a quick rundown on who each of you are, what characters you're running, any little things you want to tell us about the character, etc. So I'll go down the list of the camera as I can see it, and we will start with the wall, if that's all right.
Hi, name is Irde. I play the Wall of Zariel. The Wall of Zariel is a red-skinned, brown-haired tiefling with sweeping horns going back, does have a tail, wears a full set of adamantine armor, carries a tower shield. He's very stoic and very prideful, very his catchphrase is that he will never fall. He is the Wall of Zariel, and he came on board across a green dragon as they were fighting the rest of the party. Yes, that made sense. And yeah, he ran into the fight and joined the party thereafter.
Excellent. And what's the class?
Oh, he is a god and a wall. No, he's a fighter.
All right. Excellent. All right. Since I have you on camera, go ahead, Talia.
Okay, I'm Talia. My character's name is Corvina. She is a changeling, and she is the rogue / cleric or the Raven Queen. She is not the healing kind of cleric, because that is boring. She is a, who is it, Sophia? From Belmont? Kind of undead killing kind of cleric with a silvered whip and daggers that return to her when she throws them. She's forever looking for her missing, quote, sister, Vesper, but that's to be seen if she's ever gonna find her. I think that's about it. She kind of thinks she's a pirate, and that's her thing.
All right. Excellent. Leopard.
So,
Yeah.
Right. So far, play Leopard, the elf masquerading drow, who is archfey warlock, transitioning more into wizard. Yeah, I nothing else comes to my mind right now.
Tell us what he looks like.
He's small. He has a no leopard cloak.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Zeralda.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Sativa Rose. I play Zeralda Pricklebush at your service. Zeralda is a halfling druid that specializes in the Circle of the Shepherd. Think vet technique druid kind of thing. She very much looks like the Ishbalans of Fullmetal Alchemist. She has dark tan skin, red eyes, and white dreadlocks. You will never see her without her wooden rosewood staff that has a detachable smoking pipe that comes out of it. Yeah. Anything else, DM?
No, I think that just about covers it.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. And then Zeno.
What's going on, gamers? I'm gonna do this intro every single time just like this. And it's never gonna be old for me. And it's gonna get old for everyone else. But you know what? I don't care. It's your boy Chrono, back at it again with the half-elf, non-binary warlock of the goddess Martell, Zeno. They are twunk, I guess, would be the body type description. I think we established that.
I think so.
And
twonk.
yeah, you know, twunk. It's like it's a twink, but like they're not like scrawny. They still got some like muscle things, but like they're not like oof.
They're not quite thick, but
They look
almost
exactly
snack-like, I
that.
guess.
That's like twink and twonk.
I think so. See, like a life limbo.
Yeah, he's like himbo light.
No, he's a Zembo.
He's a thembo. They're
Right.
okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
That's they're a thembo light.
Yeah.
They are a private investigator who works with the Alon City Guard in solving murder mysteries and anomalies, particularly ones that are of the magical item and magical misuse variety. Anyway, that's it for me, gamers.
I don't know why you think that's going to get old for me, because that introduction makes me smile every damn time. So,
Good fucking goodness, because
And alright.
no, that's all. I was just gonna say good fucking goodness because I'm never gonna stop doing that.
Now I was just gonna say it's never gonna get old for me because I already did it the first time.
That's okay.
all right.
Alright.
Odd game before we get started, real fast.
Mhm.
The wall just told me that he had more dice than me, and I went, "Oh, really?" Because I just brought all of it here and dropped about 4 bags of dice on him.
But I have a puppy.
You do have a puppy.
You can't and probably should not want a puppy. That's nice.
If we get another puppy, we could roll with advantage.
No.
All right.
No.
And then, lastly, for the introductions, I am Lord Revan. I am a experienced dungeon master. I've been playing D&D for 26 years, heading on to 27. Been running games and playing it since I was like 8. This group of Hellions has come to me from various walks of life over the past year. Some of them I've known a bit longer, and I'm happy to have you guys all here at the table. So, with that, we shall start with the getting caught up. Ladies and gentlemen, the Shadow Hearth Society presents Turmoil and Taldorei. So, you guys have been in the city of Amon now for probably only a couple of days at this point, maybe 4 or 5 days, I think, if that. You had been hired by an acquaintance of the party, a Lorana, a tiefling woman from the Cloudtop district, to do a little bit of research on a missing persons. While you guys were doing that research, actually no, I take that back. So we already kind of closed part of that out. So we'll pick up at a different point. Whenever we got to town, everybody kind of had their own directions they had gone into, including that little bit that I started. However, Zeno had a private detective firm within the city, since he does work with the guard and works on magical cases, specifically those involving magic items. With him being gone from the city for the last couple of weeks, there had been casework piling up on his desk. And he came back to find I keep saying he, they came back to find a stack of files from an individual that they had given the moniker of the Mechanic. There were several explosions within the city, several deaths that had happened, and all of which seem to be tying in around magic items used for one thing or another, and all of which seem to have the same calling card as that of the Mechanic. As the party was closing up the work that they were doing for Lorana for the missing persons case, they had happened to run into somebody that was in the process of being choked out by a magic item that had animated and tried to kill them. With a bit of tracking, they were able to head into the sewers within the Cloudtop district, and traveling through them, encountered what they believe was the Mechanic's workshop. The Mechanic had requested that they leave him alone, that they weren't his target, they weren't his enemy. However, due to the brashness of the rogue, who bamfed into the room, combat had started. A series of traps started to trigger. Explosions happened. One of the party members got hit in the chest with a ballista they weren't expecting. No one expects surprise ballistas. And where we had left off, the chandelier in the room, filled with beads of fireball, dropped and exploded. The explosion doing a good chunk of damage to the party and knocking the druid Zerelda out. We are still within our combat rounds, and we would be picking up starting with Syra. We do have a missing party member from the group. She may be showing up a little bit later. That would be our sorceress, but we will skip over her for now since she's MIA. So, with that initiative order, Zeno is the first one that's up.
Well, I still don't know what we're fighting besides existential dread. So,
It's clearly filthy out there because there's all nothing all over the place.
I
I
mean,
say brash. I say somewhat cautious, but wants to see what's in the room, threatening my friend. You know, the rogue.
I mean, to be honest, I had a plan, but it is Zeno's turn.
you know, I'm just gonna hold an Eldritch Blast at, wait a minute, hold on, pause. We saw that there was an invisible figure in the room, or somebody noticed that, I remember that.
So there wasn't an invisible figure in the room. You guys did lay down a fairy fire, but it didn't pick anybody up. But
No.
Leopard did use detect magic, and he was able to detect somebody behind the crates, back in the area where the ballista was that shot Leopard last round. Here, there we go.
I assume Leopard shared that information with us?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mentioned something visible in there.
Okay. Can I just like move over here and use Pulse Wave?
Certainly could.
Alright, let's snag us a fella. There.
Also a reminder that Zerelda has gone down.
Oh.
That's for mine. It's no.
Oh.
I mean, Zerelda was behind you. The explosion went off. There was a flash of flame. Would Zeno assess the situation and try to look at the party, or would he rush in?
No, Zeno would take care of Zerelda first.
Okay.
Alright, just kidding. Haha, fooled you gamers. We're gonna go ahead and use Cure Wounds on Zerelda.
Okay.
So, that'll be my turn. I will roll the number. I have to remember what dice I use for Cure Wounds.
D8.
D8. That's what, 4 then, since it's a level 3 now?
Yes. All right.
To get more fucking D8s. They need to start. Sorry, this is a tangent. Like, hey gamers, do you ever just relate to the fact that they only give you 1 D8 but 4 D6? And you're like, man, I could use like 4 more D8. Anyway.
See,
Like they're meant for rogues.
D8s are wild dice and they should just be tossed out of the system.
that's because you can't roll higher than 2 for your hit points.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, and that worked out well, and that was all for your actions, Zeno?
Yes, that is everything I got.
Okay, so Zerelda, there was this crash in the middle of the room, and then suddenly a flash of flame, and then darkness. And not but a couple seconds later, you feel another heat radiating through your body, though it's warm and comforting. as you take a quick intake of breath, and you're prone, but you're conscious. It is your turn.
After roll anything?
It depends on what you're doing, but there's nothing you have to roll to like stand up. Just keep in mind, standing up from prone, you're using up half your movement.
Okay. I'm already pretty short, so I don't have a lot of movement. Let me see. I would like.
To rage.
Yeah. I will move back towards farther in the group where Leopard is, farther away from the mechanic. We know he's there, right? Mechanic?
From what Leopard was telling the group, he's down around this area.
Okay.
And Leopard is here. So you said you're going to try moving towards him?
Yes, yeah.
Alright. And your movement speed is normally 25, right?
Yeah, I read that. We'll say yes, because I don't have it written down.
Alright, so let's round that up to 15. 5, 10, 15. That's about as far as you're able to get.
Okay.
Alright, so that was your movements. An action?
I would like to use. Am I able to use frostbite on something that I technically can't see?
You do have to have line of sight for that.
Okay.
While she's while she's doing that, Leopard's saying that we're getting told that the stream is quiet.
Alright, let me take a look here.
Sorry, Zarilla.
No problem.
Alright, everybody just talk real quick for something, see if that worked.
Something.
Gamers, if you've ever had a chandelier fall and explode into a massive fireball, like the stream, follow the stream, share it with your friends for other people who can relate to chandeliers falling and exploding into several fireballs. Did that do it?
Waiting for response.
We've been trying to reach you about your chandelier insurance.
Excuse me, sir. Do you have a minute to talk about your chandelier insurance?
The sending point.
Whoa, Jesus.
I'm hearing audio on Twitch, so
Alright, let me see.
I will agree that it's a lot quieter than what I'm getting from Discord. So maybe that's what hearing you in Discord and hearing you on the stream is significant, and the volume on stream is max for me.
It just sounds like a Twitch problem, then, to be honest.
First,
Well, let me make sure that I have you all maxed.
Like, let's be real here. Twitch is not always the most functional website. And gamers, if you agree, make sure you share the stream with your friends. We're trying to get way more.
Alright, Witchy, I just tweaked things a little bit. Is that any better? Y'all talk.
Oh, I've been talking.
I know you haven't.
Shilling, like if my life depends on it.
Hey, don't be kissing the Blarney Stone, the locals be urinating on it.
What?
It's a whole whack. Not good at it, Brian.
People actually pee on that? That's not cool.
Oh.
Actually, I think that's fairly historically accurate.
The Blarney Stone.
No, don't pee on that.
Yeah, don't be being on the Blarney Stone, the locals be being on, don't be kissing the Blarney Stone, the locals be peeing on it.
I thought you were supposed to kiss it.
That's the point, the locals pee on it because they think it's funny when the foreigners come and kiss it and they have peed on it.
Oh, that's not very nice.
It's a joke.
God.
I don't know if it's true.
Now I can't unhear it, so.
I question people who kiss a piss stuff.
I mean, in that case, I feel like you just need to bring, bring a wipe with you.
Or those rubber lips from Batman and Robin. Was it Batman and Robin?
Yes.
Or just-
The ones they use for poison ivy.
If you really want to be lucky, just cut out the middleman.
Wait, who's the middleman in this scenario?
The stone. The stone is the middleman.
Does he just kiss the air? I'm missing the
Go
content.
Alright, I kind of did all that I think that I'm able to do.
Yeah, it's
Like, everything's maxed. I have the desktop audio, which is what you guys would be coming through on, set to be, usable. If I try using anything else, the sound comes out like it's Satan's anus.
How do you know what that sounds like?
Don't you judge me.
I'm judging you.
Alright, well, we will
I'm not sure.
we will continue. I have everybody maxed out. I think this is kind of the best I'm able to do at the moment. And then after, or when we go on to our break, I'll tweak things around a little bit more, see if there's anything else I could do.
It just might be some way the stream has to be rerouting all of it or something.
Maybe. That's also possible. Maybe I'll switch to a different format on the break. Alright, so we shall continue then.
Right, whose turn will it be on?
Zorella. I interrupted her while she was looking for a spell.
That said, spell book down.
You're muted, sweetie.
Alright, I'm just going to put you there. Zeralda, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, it's your turn, hon.
Okay. Which
Yeah, you don't have a line of sight on him. No.
Okay, I would like to use one of my totems then.
Okay. And what are we using?
Okay. Magically summon an incorporeal spirit to a point you can see within 60 feet. I would like to use the Hawk Spirit. When a creature makes an attack roll against a target in the spirit's aura, you can use your reaction to grant advantage to that attack roll. In addition, you and your allies have advantage on wisdom checks while in this aura.
All right. Excellent.
Okay, I would like to cast that.
All right. And does the spirit just pop up next to you, or do you send it out somewhere?
Send it out within 60 feet. So I would like to put it here. Let me open. Probably so that all of us can. I don't know, like there, near the ballista, so that everyone is in the area.
Like there?
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Okay. I believe that's all I can do with it. So I end my turn.
All right. Corvina.
She has to take her medicine. She's coming.
Okay.
And just a reminder that she is effectively grappled by the wall right now.
I mean, only if he's holding her.
But I am. I pulled her out of the chandelier, and I'm holding her because she's a firecracker, dangerous, random.
So Corvina sees that Zeralda is back up. We still don't see the guy.
But we know general direction he was last seen.
Correct.
And nothing's lighting up with my fairy fire.
Correct.
So I'm gonna drop that and cast resistance on the wall since he's holding me. So that'll give him a d4 if he needs it for any saves. That'll be my action, and I don't have bonus action because I can't do anything else when I cast spells.
So are you staying put? Are you moving? Y'all are bunched up really pretty for that next fireball.
Yeah, we are.
Why would you say such a thing?
You know what? I will
Sowing descent.
get down off of him, and I will
That's
saunter
gonna
up.
be contested.
Okay. I will.
Just a dismount.
She's not on me. I'm holding her like a tire.
I get tired. Well, she will roll off of him, and then saunter up to the questionable individual to parlay.
You're gonna have to get away from me first.
I'm gonna roll my new pride dice because it's pride.
Realistically, we don't actually know if there's an individual or just maybe a moving trap.
Okay. So I'm gonna roll my dex versus what your strength.
So
Right?
keep in mind if you're gonna do this, I'm gonna count this as a reaction for you all.
A reaction?
Yeah.
Makes
Okay.
sense, 'cause you're. So my acrobatics and his athletics. Is that how this goes?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what does that mean moving forward?
That means for the rest of the turn, or at least until we get to you, if there's anything that you would have been able to do as a reaction, like any of your battle mastery stuff, then you can't use it.
Fuck. What'd you get?
16.
I
I rolled low.
9.
Alright, so I rolled a 16 to his 9.
All right, you slip out. So you've got what, 30 feet?
Yeah.
So that'll put you just about here. You still have the crates in the way. You're not able to really see anything.
And as I walk up, I'll be like, listen, we need to talk this out. If we're the wrong people, then let's parlay. And I will show that I have no weapons in my hands. But I'm going to give myself enough room that if I do have to acrobatics the hell out of there, then I will.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a persuasion.
Okay. That's cocked and rolling again.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Do you want to look at that and tell me what that is? That's a nat 20.
Yeah.
Persuasion plus 7, so 27 total.
Okay. All right, and that's it for your turn?
Yep.
So there's silence for a few moments. And then you hear a voice. Just gonna ask you guys to leave. I'm not here for you. You guys are not my trouble. Detective, I'm not after you either. This is simply something between me and the Myriad.
I don't know what the Myriad is.
Go ahead and give me a history check real quick.
Okay. I don't. I don't suppose a 6 can tell me.
You're not as familiar with it. The criminal element that you're familiar with here in Amon is the clasp. You've heard the name before, but you don't know anything about them.
Would the Myriad happen to span from my origin that I might know?
Actually, yes.
Or any criminal or anything.
You and Leopards can both do the history checks on that.
Oh, yes. 19.
Okay. And Leopard?
4.
4. Okay. You're less familiar with them too. They're, as far as you're aware, they're not as familiar in the. Wait, it's not the Dwendalian. The. Shit. What's your country now? I forget.
Kryn Dynasty.
Kryn. Thank you. For the Wall, however, they are a lot more well known in the Dwendalian. The Myriad is a major crime syndicate. They have large footholds in various parts of the Dwendalian Empire. They are very well known for smuggling. They're well known for slavery, slave trade. They're known for their violent outbursts, as well too as their manipulation of public officials. They definitely have that concept of ruling behind the throne, and have been a thorn in the side for officials within the Dwendalian quite a bit.
Young mechanic, may I ask who the Myriad took from you?
give me a persuasion check yourself, but give it with advantage.
Right there. 16.
Okay. They took my wife.
How so?
Alright. We can talk. Everybody get their weapons away. Understand that this room is still very heavily trapped. And I would rather not have to fire them all off. Are we in agreement?
I will simply, I would probably
Sheath.
sheath my sword and put my shield on my back and hold my arms to the side, open palm, to show being passive.
Okay.
And the rest of the party have their own minds, so I would probably glance around. This is our chance to actually talk to him, but and this one in particular, Corvina, I would actually probably approach her and well, actually, yeah, you don't have any weapons held at the moment.
Okay. Is that the same for... Well, actually, for Leopard and Zeno, I don't even think you guys had bamfed your weapons out at all.
No.
No.
And then Zerelda, you just got your smoking staff. So, yeah. Alright. So, he will come walking out from around the boxes. The mechanic is very lithe. He's wearing a suit of leather armor. Has various, like, etchings into it as well, but also has things on it that doesn't seem to necessarily go on a suit of armor, so to speak. Like, you do see what seems to be, like, a tube that runs from, like, one side to the back. His one arm has, like, brass plating that goes down almost like a gauntlets and the attaching armor. A kind of ratty cloak goes around and clasps onto the armor. He himself does not seem to be carrying any weapons, though you do see he is kind of just doing a quick glance around the room. You see him look at each of you, as well too seems to kind of glance at different spots within the room too. As to, you know, his facial structure and everything like that, he seems to be probably in his late 30s, early 40s. What was originally this, like, really, probably really nice, like, dark brown hair, has definitely stress grayed. You can see patches of that mixed in. A very unkempt beard that has just been left to grow. Set of goggles on his forehead. One of the lenses is a little bit cracked. Goes. Alright. Everybody take a seat. Detective, I'm sure you're going to want to hear some of this too, since you were the one that's been tracking me down over the last couple of months. So,
Cerberus sits cross-legged on the floor.
your spirit hawk just kind of flits around you in a circle, kind of flying around the room a little bit, but always doing a pass by you.
Corvino will let her birds out to play with Zerelda's bird.
It all started about 3 months ago. I started to make breakthroughs with some of my tinkering. My ability to make magic items, though a lot of them were minor, I was starting to really kind of grasp how to be able to make the stuff. I had originally reached out to Gilmore to see if I could work as a magical supplier for him. And while he still bought pieces of mine, he advised that some of them still needed work. But he encouraged me to continue my craft. I have no ill will towards Gilmore himself. But my son is sick. I've been paying the local church of the Morning Lord to handle his treatments, but to be able to cure him, we need to have access to spells that are just very expensive. So, I made a stupid decision. My wife, Delilah, she told me against it, told me just to keep working, and we would keep making payments to the church just to pay it off while they kept him healthy. But I connected with several people and met up with an individual named Kiln. You kind of see his lip curl, just the disgust arc across the weathered face of his. He is one of the branch of the myriad out on this side of the coast, and was more than happy to buy my magic items. In fact, he was paying half decent money for them. It was not but a couple weeks later I found out that he was weaponizing them and using them to, and this was my assumption considering the events that followed, but using them to weaponize to harm innocents and to pick people off the streets. I believe it was actually one of your original circumstances into looking into me, detective, that there was a large explosion, and I had, after you had left the scene, there was a piece of it that was left that you guys didn't find, and it had my signature on it. It was my work. I confronted Kiln after that. Told him I wasn't doing it anymore. I'm not going to make items that's going to destroy innocent lives. He didn't take too kindly to that. A couple days later, my wife was missing. There was no note. Nothing. Didn't really have any other conversation with him at that. So I don't know if that was his way of accepting payment for me not continuing his work, or if he was trying to send me a warning for him to continue, though I'm thinking more the former than the latter. Tried to go through the same channels to figure out what happened to her, see if there was some way that I could bargain. Nothing. nobody would talk to me. So, I did the next reasonable thing. Started finding the people that I knew that were associated with them. And started working on my plan. This is where you came in, Detective, and this is where I think that some of your troubles are my fault, and I do regret that. You were hot on my trail. You were actually pretty close to catching me. And I knew of a dwarf within the city that was in the process of trying to find a homeland, a lost mine. Through some of my connections, I had connected him over, or not him, I had informed a shady fellow, a drow, of this potential lost mine. And directed him to Phandalin. Or, not Phandalin. Forgot we changed the name of it. I directed him to the town. I didn't know what happened after that. I just knew that you left town. So I assumed that the old dwarf got a hold of you. And with you out of the city, I was able to work. I had some bumps on the road. A couple people I had intended to hurt, I hurt. Some people were very much an accident, and that weighs on my soul. And the Raven Queen will judge me once I cross the threshold. Finally started to figure out on where I can go next. And that's kind of where you guys encountered me tonight, that pickpocket that you found struggling in the alleyway. That item was not intended for him. That was intended for a Gianna Sycamore. It's a noble in the Cloudtop district. It's a direct connection to Kiln. It's hoping to be able to utilize that to get a location out of her. But once it went off and the commotion started, I knew I had no time. So I left. And that's how you guys found me here. The one mistake of somebody who decided they wanted to take something pretty is thrown off months of planning. Probably appropriate. To be completely honest, I assumed that you guys were coming in here just to murder me, either associates of the Myriad or people just under the assumption that I'm the villain. And I am. I have no doubt on that. But I'm not the worst of them.
When he pauses, Corvina will look up and say, a couple questions for you. You've lived your life, so has your wife. Eventually, you will meet the Raven Queen. She will judge you for whatever you be judged for. You go where you go. Does your boy still live?
Yes.
He's still at the hospital, church.
Yes.
Did they still charge you for his care?
Yes.
Where is this church?
It's the Church of the Morning Lord in the Temple District.
Would Corvina know of that?
Yeah. The Church of the Morning Lord is a big church.
Okay. She'll take her last Misty step and do 30 feet out and then take her 30 feet movement and start working towards that church. She has words to speak with whoever the head of that church is. You don't charge for the care of a little boy.
I think you do if they're using up your resources.
Then can care for him herself.
I think we had a discussion about not kidnapping him.
I mean, somebody's more than willing to grab her.
Yeah, I think we have to.
I mean, if she Misty stepped, I know she can run faster than me. I can't catch her. There's a difference between she Misty stepped into a room and god damn it, you, why, and running in after, and her Misty stepping out.
You guys can counterspell it, but that's about it.
Could they? They'd have to know you were gonna do it.
It's a reaction. So.
It is a reaction. I mean, he totally could counterspell it.
I can't.
Keep in mind, and it's never explicitly said, whenever someone's doing a spell, typically they're saying something or doing something or like waving their arms around. So like that's kind of the like tip off that, oh, Corvina's about to use Misty Step because she's waving her arms around like a lunatic.
Right.
But in a specific way.
It's pretty.
Just
Waving her arms around like I'm about to dip.
Just think this is all Naruto. It's all Naruto. We're doing hand signs to do our jutsus.
Yeah.
Actually, Misty Step is vocal, so she's just saying, Misty Step.
There you go.
Dragon Ball Z rules.
Zeno would have lit a cigarette while all this was being explained. I rolled a 22 insight just to see if they're lying.
They seem to be pretty honest.
Okay.
He has this "you've caught me" look, and all hope is lost kind of appearance on him. He's not standing tall. He's kind of just slumped over, defeated.
So, here's where things stand, and I just need to clear a few things up. Was the sword incident also Kill's doing?
The flying sword.
Yes.
No, that was mine. That guard who bought it, he has direct connections to both the Clasp and the Myriad. He works both sides behind the scenes.
Oh, son of a bitch, I thought we were done with that. Well, we're going to have a talk with Captain about that.
And I have evidence for that as well. He goes, behind the crates and where the ballista was, I kind of have a whole board of documentation and information.
Perfect.
Some of those boards, the red lines and everything.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah. There's like a full there's an ashtray full of cigarettes, a 3-day-old cup of coffee.
Spilled bottle of scotch, yeah.
He just knows he has like a very rumpled shirt and like a loose tie.
Why not?
So is there really anything for us to do here?
Well,
We have a
sorry, go ahead.
prime suspect / witness / your multitude of things. But I imagine that Kill is not going to be too thrilled about you presenting evidence of where certain people are dipping their other side interests into. So essentially losing that case as well.
And for the record, I think the entire party knows that the Wall of Zariel is not going to allow a man's wife to be kidnapped and not go after them.
Oh, I thought you were already at the door to go chase them down.
Pretty much. He's just hanging around to see what, and to get all the information.
You mean what Corbin didn't do? Because she doesn't know the kid's name or what he looks like. She's just going to take all the kids.
Oh God. Ignoring what she's saying, the wall also knows that he has a knack for finding underground crime areas because City Watch background on here. Cough, cough.
Well then,
So what's this information? What's this evidence?
let me show you. And he'll take you back to the back part of the room. Back there, you do see a hatch on the ground. And you see two tables. One of which has a scattering of paper. It's completely disorganized from what you could tell. And then the other one seems to be a workbench. And that is meticulously organized. Workbench filled with beakers and powders and various items that may have been up for enchantment of one thing or another, or cursed in his case.
Is there any indication he's just not some crazy conspiracy theorist?
It's entirely up to you.
Actually, you have a wife and child. I'm not actually asking that. The wall would be conceptual.
So, if anyone wants to take a look over the papers, go ahead and give me an investigation check.
Oh, I'm good at those.
15 from the wall.
15 from me.
All right. So, you get a lot of. There is a lot of information there. Taking a quick glance over things, you will see that there's a lot of probably what would be circumstantial evidence. But there is definitely times and dates of when people would meet. You do find his diary. That's been placed in one of the drawers of the desk. But you do see several articles of people who've had dealings with Kiln. What you could gather from that is Kiln is a dwarf. Has some type of connection to the fire plane, though he doesn't know what the race is actually called. But he describes a fiery beard. Says that Kiln has a wide network of the Myriad, though seemingly they have only been very minorly working with the Clasp, because the Clasp and them do clash, but seems like individuals they've been working with. You do see that the guard name pop up, the one that had the sword. You do see his name pop up a couple of times with a timestamp of him meeting up with another rogue whose name, a class member that you're unfamiliar with. Most recent information, like the top papers, show the name for Gianna as well. And The most recent thing is showing a timestamp of her in the docks district, making sure a shipment is leaving the docks of Amon with Kiln. That's dated about 3 days ago. But this investigation itself, just kind of leafing through things, this easily dates back at least 2 months, if not longer.
So, young mechanic, since I don't know your name, but just curious, you had said that this is to get back at the Myriad, and we know why. After the hand mirror had made it to your target, what were going to be your next steps? Where were you going to start to search for Kiln or your wife? What were you going to do beyond that?
If I wasn't able to get information out of her, I was going to search through, figured that she would have some type of documentation in a safe, something like that. Somebody of the Cloud Top District, they're good at hiding their dirty laundry. So, assume that there was some type of information there that would tell me a location, something that I could use to be able to find out where their hideout is, because I know they're not in the city itself.
And what evidence do you have that she is involved with the Myriad?
He'll go through the papers and he'll pull up one that's got a couple timestamps, the one that I was just referencing from a few days ago, where he saw her, he was following her, because he had a hunch and followed her to the docks where he saw her meeting up with Kiln. It was late at night. It was documents like 3 o'clock in the morning. And Kiln loaded up on a ship and left. Now what they were shipping or anything like that, he doesn't know.
I would turn to Zeno and ask if this would be admissible in a court by the military, etc. If this would be enough to legally go after her.
Oh, I'm absolutely certain of that, but the problem is that we're dealing with people who A, have a lot of money, B, who know the loopholes. So, yes, it absolutely would be enough, but we have to make sure that it's more than enough. We have to make sure it's beyond enough. There can't be any chances of exploiting loopholes. That's the thing with dealing with the rich and powerful, is that they just get to buy their way out of things, while the rest of us have to play by the rules.
Turning to everyone else. So where do we go from here?
We say we can go back to the inn. I'm not sure how exactly this concerns us.
I mean, this concerns us through me. This is a major kind of break in the case for me.
And the wall is not going to let stolen wife, kidnapped wife, go without vengeance. plan to kidnap a bunch of children,
Just one.
so that she could heal him. Would you know the proper healing spell?
I need a nap.
Probably not.
You do need a nap first. Okay. So you would go to the church, you would fall asleep right outside.
He doesn't have a plan.
Like a stray dog, just curled underneath the archway.
That's barely a plan. That's like less than 12% of a plan.
Bed, and she wakes up, heals him, and takes him home.
Pirate under the bed. Is that normal?
Maybe.
Who knows? You guys aren't having this
She just like, little boy needs help, Kirby, what
I mean, there's enough room under my bed for a person to be under there, but I don't have a pirate under my bed.
Oh, Wall, haven't you heard of the traditional pirate under the bed? It happens every autumn festival. The traditional pirate under the bed. Oh, kids, you better be good. The pirate under the bed is paying attention and drinking their grog.
Under the bed.
To just go get the boy, bring him back to his father, she'll take a nap and heal him.
So just to clarify, because I'm going to jump in here real quick, are you coming back to have that conversation because you realize you stormed off with zero plan?
No, she's on her way.
Oh, God.
Okay, so then you guys aren't having this conversation.
No. No, she's gonna grab a child not knowing if she has any chance of helping him.
Oh, yeah, does she even know what child she's grabbing?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay.
She does have one part of the plan is she knows what the father looks like. That's all she needs right now.
Oh, I can't wait for him I can't wait for the child to have taken after the other parent.
She's in the process of creating another villain.
The best we can assume is she's gonna take a child from a place that can help her, not be able to help him, and eventually just muck up the whole thing.
Yeah, and that's what I'm expecting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna turn back to the machinist. So here's the deal. Our party member is going to try to take your son, probably, because I don't know. You know,
He likes to kidnap.
yeah, she likes to kidnap. So we need obviously your information, but I don't want to risk your safety, but at the same time, I think things are going to be moving very quickly very soon. Do you know through your connections if the captain at all is compromised?
I'm sorry.
Okay, the captain of the guard, the person I work with.
Oh. To my knowledge, no. He seems to be a pretty stand-up individual. I've never seen him be exceedingly lenient with any criminals. Not seen him slap anybody on the wrist and send them on their way that didn't deserve it. Guess the question now remains, what are you going to do with me? I have full intentions on seeing things through. If you let me go, I'm going to do just that.
It's complicated because, to be frank with you, there are things that you need to be held accountable for.
I agree.
Unfortunately, intent, which I clearly understand your intent, the fact that some items ended up going to have a little bit of work to do, and there might be investigations and interviews. Not to mention, there's probably somebody out there who's going to claim that you were selling magic items on back channels that aren't supposed to be, blah, blah, blah. The point is, all of that doesn't matter because we're dealing with actually dangerous people. I don't believe you're an actually dangerous person. Do I think that things could have gone better? Yes, but unfortunately, we don't all have the luxury of things going better. I would rather make sure that the person and the people who are dangerous are stopped and out of my city.
I could agree with that. Do I have intentions on harming innocent people? No. The probably my biggest regret out of all of this, aside from starting this whole thing, was the incident with the lantern. The lantern, there was a target that I had. One of the lieutenants that was under Kiln. I had found a way to sell the lantern to him. Problem was that I made it a little bit too big for the explosion. And the thing that I regret is that his family wasn't supposed to be home. Saw that at the last minute. At that point, it was too late. I have no problems answering for my crimes. I have no problem if they hang me off the city walls. As long as my wife is home, that's all I care about.
I can't promise you anything, but I will make sure that you are, when it comes to you and your trials and crimes, that you are treated fairly, and that what you do from here out is considered in all of that.
It's more than I deserve.
I want that bastard out of here. In a body bag, preferably. I want your family restored. And I would like them to at least have their father, husband, alive. Maybe in a prison cell, but at least alive.
Let's see if Palor accepts that for us. Let's get going then. Maybe we could catch up with your very rambunctious friend. Prevent her from going and causing trouble with the church. Last thing I need is there to be trouble with my boy.
Yeah, we don't really want to be labeled heretics, probably. Wall, please make sure our guest here is under your umbrella of protection. We desperately need to make sure that nothing happens to him.
You have my word. He is under my charge.
Alright, let's go catch us a cleric.
Sounds like a fantastic idea.
Alright. So you guys start heading out. Are you going back out the same way that you came in and heading back into the Cloudtop district?
Well, it seems like we're heading towards the Temple District.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like,
Yeah, and
are you taking like the same direction out through the Cloudtop, or are you going out a different way into the city?
I believe we now have a guide.
You do.
Sam, why don't we
Well,
ask the
it's
person who
safer.
knows?
I was gonna say he probably knows a shortcut that we could get there before Corvina. And then she's like, "What the?"
And then we
Because
tell where we're at.
Yeah. Does Corvina even know the layout of the city?
Oh gosh, yeah. Does she know
Or
how
the
to get
sewers?
back?
Well,
Or where the
she
trash
knows
is?
where the temple is, because the Temple of Palor is not too far away from the Raven Queen's temple, and she passed it going in.
I feel like she would scope out and try to figure out where this child is for. It would just take the form of the dad in her clothing, but look maybe a little sallow, as if, a little bit different, but do the same voice and all, and then try to go in.
Huh. That's
May
actually
need to find our way out of the sewers first.
All right. So he will start to lead you through the sewers because he does know a shortcut to the temple district. And that is where we'll go ahead and take our break. So we will take a 10-minute. So everybody go ahead and get a drink, get a snack, get whatever you need. And we'll be back here in a little bit. Thank you, everybody.
All right.
All right, we are back. Thank you, everybody. So, you guys do end up heading through the sewers, and you are able to head into the temple district relatively quickly, actually.
So, I was wondering, how many days are we going to have to wait outside of this temple, waiting for Corvina to find her way through the sewers?
I mean, I assume that she came out of the Cloud Top district. Is that a fair assessment?
It's Corvina's place, so
He would go the same way that she came in.
Right. So you have a lot of side streets to travel down to be able to get to the temple district to get there. I would say, honestly, it's reasonable that they would have gotten there before you did without having to worry about the streets.
Would cruise up looking like the dad. Old, though she wouldn't exactly look like her, but they would recognize the clothes, probably.
Well, not just that.
He's with us.
Right. But I will be fair. Everybody, since you're looking for Corvina, go ahead and give me a perception check.
Can I stealth?
The question is, are you actively trying to sneak? Because I don't think that you'd have a reason to be.
But he's a wanted criminal, so probably would be stealthing anyway.
That nobody knows that's him, though.
That's fair. Alright, then no.
15.
16 for me.
Zeno and Zeralda?
24.
Zeralda?
You want me?
Alright, well, the 24 would be enough. So, as you guys are looking around, Zeno, you do end up spotting something that's kind of bizarre. Somebody that's dressed in Corvina's clothes and armor. But, so, almost an exact copy of the person that you're walking with. It's bizarre.
How far away is this? How bizarre occurrence?
This how bizarre occurrence is only about like 20, 30 feet away from you.
Is she carrying a child?
No, you're just now making it to the temple.
I'm gonna walk my hand on their shoulder.
Would I know it's Zeno?
I mean, I'm not hiding myself.
Is she being approached from behind?
I'm just walking up to her. I'm not trying to sneak or anything.
I think we're right in front of her.
Yeah.
Alright, as long as I know it's Zeno, I won't attack Zeno. But if I'm being walked up behind and I don't know, I would defend myself.
I feel like DM, feel free to correct me. I feel like Zena would know not to do that to the stabby rogue.
Yeah, I figured that's probably fair.
So, I would just put my head down and be like, I just need an hour, and I can fix this.
There's better ways to do it, and right now we need you for other things. Let them take care of his son. If anything, make a donation. But leave the son where it's safe. Where we're going
think that's part of the problem.
I give her the care, and then the boy gets released healthy.
How much is needed to pay for the recovery?
So, I've been paying down on it. There needs a greater restoration. That in itself is about 2,500 with the with it flat out, and I've got it down to about 2,000.
And you make fancy items.
I do, but the main supplier that was in the town was only buying small pieces of them.
So said items are connected to several murders.
Correct.
So, how do you feel about becoming a magic item shop owner in a brand new town? I'm kidding. That's a buff table joke.
How many platinum would that be?
200 platinum.
200.
So if I pay down your debt, it's a prepay on some magic items that I might want. You can work it off. And then I'll help you get your boy.
I'm not against that. The problem is, though, is I'm going to have a hard time doing that either in prison or being hung from a wall.
Fair point.
I can't help you get hung from a wall, but I can help you get out of prison.
Oh my god.
We are not breaking out
Remember.
criminal out of prison.
This whole time, the wall is very overtly focused on the mechanic, making sure that he's safe. He's glancing at every individual going by, making sure there's nothing nefarious going on. The mechanic is his charge. He's doing his job. So he's not really paying attention to her.
It's a good point. So in that exact scenario, actually, give me a perception check.
16.
Okay.
And Corvina is highly, like, she's showing that she's confused and upset. Like, she's, like, I can't help the boy, I can't help the father. I don't know what you guys want me to do, I can't rogue, right now I can't cleric because I need sleep. I can't do anything to help you guys, but just be stabby, and that's all I can do. And then she kind of just puts her head down, crosses her arms, and just stands next to the wall.
What's everybody's passive perception? The wall, I'll exclude you from this since I had you roll.
You want everybody's passive, you said?
Yeah.
Mine's 17.
16.
11.
Zerata?
Just sounds good. Passive perception, is that just your base stat?
Are you proficient in perception?
I will look. I don't. No, I'm not.
Okay, so then it's going to be 10 plus your wisdom modifier.
Okay, so 10.
Wait, is it 10 or 8? Because I feel like it was both numbers before.
I think for the passive, I'm pretty sure it's 10.
Wait, I was looking at the wrong.
Great.
Okay.
Seven.
Computer man.
Wait, if you are proficient in it, then is it 10 plus your
Your modifier.
perception?
Yeah, your perception.
Yeah, essentially it's 10 plus your perception skill.
Okay, then mine is 17.
Okay.
14.
Okay. Give me a second.
Okay.
I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that.
Yeah. So, as you're discussing and the wall, you're being observant. Like, you know that you're watching your surroundings. You hear the gurgle. You hear the impact before you hear the gurgle. As you turn and look, and there are 2 black feathered arrows in the mechanic's chest.
Oh, jeez.
Korean's not getting repayment for that. B then.
Son of a bitch.
I'll cast Spare the Dying.
Pulling the arrows out before anything blasting is in there.
Okay. So that's what you're doing is you're pulling the arrows out and then doing Spare the Dying.
Yes.
Well, she's doing the Spare the Dying part. Are you pulling the arrows out so there's 2 of you's working on them?
Yes.
Okay. What's the rest of you doing?
Looking where the arrows came from and running towards it if I see anything.
Okay. Give me another perception check.
15.
So, you follow where the trajectory was, and they're hard to see because it is nighttime. You're estimating it's probably about 11 or 12 at night. And you catch movement up on one of the rooftops. Seems to be a light figure, cloak and a bow. You see them from the rooftop as they move and then dip out of view.
I would normally, would I actually send Corvina, but she can't Misty Step, so.
This is your gut reaction. What are you doing? You staying with your charge? Or you going after him?
Staying with my charge, because there's nothing I can do.
Alright. Leopard.
Protecting him from anything else.
Well, let me state this. Are you pointing him out?
Yes. I would actually make the party aware.
Okay. With him making you aware, you guys do see kind of that flurry of the cloak as he dips down out of view on the roof. Leopard, what are you doing?
You said out of view, correct? At this point.
Correct, he is currently out of view.
Not sure there's much I can do at this situation.
to wild shape into a wolf and try to find his scent and chase him down.
Okay. Go ahead with the well, you, blah, blah, blah. Words are hard. You do your wild shape, and you take off in that direction. Go ahead and give me a perception check with advantage, because the scent.
Okay. Sure, that's it. Do we have the dice roller on the app? Or on Discord?
We have 2 or 3 of them.
Are you? You're no longer in Roll20.
I know there's one in my section if you want to go over to the revolving door.
I'm pretty sure that we have both Dice Maiden and Avery.
First roll, second roll is...
You're cutting out.
Here, one sec. Is that better?
Much.
Okay, I rolled an 18.
Okay. So yeah, you're able to catch his scent. All right. So
Okay.
we will have you. We'll get back to you in just a second as you're starting to chase him down. Go back up to the top. We'll do Corvina. So you're able to do the Spare the Dying once the arrows are removed. He is breathing and stabilized.
Awesome.
Okay.
I really have no healing spells or anything. Is there anyone that I can see? Any of the attackers?
No, there doesn't seem to be any other attackers. Then Zerelda went off to chase somebody.
We are also surrounded by clerics. If
Right.
healing
We
is
are.
needed. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're at the doorstep of the temple.
And yeah, the only thing I could do is resistance, so I guess what I'll do is give that to who's next to me.
Zeno, the wall, and the mechanic,
Yeah.
and Leopard.
Yeah, pretty much everybody but Zerelda.
Or I'll give it to, I guess, the wall, since you're probably gonna fight if anyone comes closer. So you get a d4 if you have to roll against.
Okay.
It would be against like a save.
Okay. All right, Zeno. Zeno. Okay.
I'll use Cure Wounds on him.
Okay. All right.
He heals for 26.
All right. Cool. So he's back up. He's definitely hurt, but you got him back up to about half health. All right. Leopard, are you still staying with the group?
Yeah, I mean, really not much else to do.
All right. All right, Zerelda, you end up rounding a corner, and First thing you do notice as you round the corner is you do see one of the Amon guards is dead on the ground. Arrow stuck in his chest. You get to where the guard's body is. You do see attached to the arrow looks to be a little spindle of paper that's tied to it.
I will. You said he was definitely dead?
Yeah, the guard himself is definitely dead.
Okay. Can Dog Zerelda read common?
I don't think that you'd be able to. You should be able to read it because you maintain your intelligence, but it's the lack of opposing fingers to unroll it from an arrow.
Yeah. I will take the paper in my mouth, and I will go back to my group.
Okay. All right. So after about maybe another couple of seconds, do you turn back to yourself or do you stay as a wolf?
I'm gonna stay as a wolf for a little bit.
Okay. So Zerelda, as the wolf, comes padding back over to you guys. A bloody arrow hanging out of her mouth like she was carrying a stick.
We can read it for her.
So,
Well, before she would have gotten back, with the mechanic up, I would have probably asked if he recognized the arrows.
he does not.
I think it's pretty safe to assume it's the area. The group that does not live where they went behind.
Would I be able to confirm that, being, knowing the underground and stuff?
Go ahead and give me a history check, because you didn't roll before to see if you're familiar with the Myriad. Growing up in Whitestone, there's no connection to them there. You've heard stories about them, but your surrogate parents didn't really even have too much of a dealing with them themselves.
Okay.
Alright. Zerelda comes padding back. Note written on tied to an arrow and written to whoever's taking it.
I'll take it.
Okay. You unfurl it. It's just a simple sentence. You've been warned. Stay away.
Does anyone else have something else to say? Because it seems that's what we've been hearing lately.
I hold the note up, kind of like in the city square, and I just Eldritch blasted into nothingness.
Probably could have used that for Ryan, potentially.
I mean, we still have the arrow and the blood.
I also hit apart the little bit that's in my fingers.
If there was ever overkill on a piece of paper.
Oh, that paper's dead. It said, "We've been warned, stay away," which,
I mean, we could have written "make me" on it and sent it back.
oh, just shoot an arrow into the sky and hope it gets to them.
Fair.
It's alright, you get these kind of threats all the time in my department.
So if you attach that note to like several arrows and just like shoot them all off in different directions, is that like the origin of chainmail?
Well, no, you shoot it saying, give this message to the next person, or you'll be cursed for 100 years.
There you go.
You actually put like a curse on it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, an actual curse.
Yeah, you go get like a hag to curse it.
Are you enchanted with chain lightning?
One of them, though, definitely has to be. We've been trying to reach you about your Eldritch Pact extended warranty.
yes. There's also a Marquesian prince trying to get you some money. And he needs down payment.
The funny thing is, too, is that like that's a legit plot point. I might run with that someday.
I'm not. We're gonna say no. We're gonna say no, and that'll be the end of that plot point.
I think it would have to be an intelligence check to see if we say no.
Corvino would just steal his money.
Scam the scammer. All right.
Spoiler for you, Corvina, there is no money.
She will find out.
I mean, she's already willing to take his kids as payment.
Speaking of which, we've already healed the father. Let's go find the child and heal him too.
He needs greater restoration. None of us know that, especially not the fighter.
I believe he's already in the place that he needs.
I mean, every day he suffers because they're too greedy to just heal him. It's rude, and I don't like it.
I mean, that is a good point.
It's evil. I need to go and start taking them out one by one until I heal the child, and then we could pay them eventually. Or kill them until they see my point.
I mean, you would buy your cart and have a payment plan on the cart. Granted,
They're letting him
you
suffer.
prefer to have all the. I'm saying like a car payment that you
Right.
have.
Why are they letting this child suffer when they could just heal him with this greater
Considering they have to
restoration?
be giving him little heals that the father is paying.
See-
They're extorting the father. This is all above table. The wall would not actually be having this
The wall is
conversation.
agreeing with Corvina right now.
I did not say that.
So I was just smoking a cigarette listening to this happen.
This is an evil act. They are not healing this child. They are letting him suffer. They're extorting the father. This is an evil church of greed and pain and torture. And as she's saying this, she's starting to stealth away towards the church.
So what you're trying to say, Corvina, is that there's no ethical consumption under capitalism.
Yes. Can I roll?
I mean, you guys are literally having the conversation. I reasonably can't say that you are able to stealth away.
That's fair.
Like, everybody is literally watching
Looking
you.
at you as you just like try to like duck down really low and
You put a fern in front of your face.
Can I use thaumaturgy to do like fireworks behind them and be like, oh wow, check that out, and then stealth away?
The old, hey, look at distraction tactic.
Yeah.
I mean, you could make the sound of fireworks, couldn't she?
Yeah, I would say you could make the sound of it, but the fireworks part of it, that kind of falls under prestidigitation.
we're also gonna see you cast the spell.
Finger wiggles.
You either do the hand jutsus or you're gonna go to thaumaturgy.
Alright, so I'm a terrible cleric. I've already established this.
No, you're a great cleric. You're just being a bad rogue. Trying to sneak while casting spells.
But I'm totally gonna do that and see if it works, so can I try?
Which really begs the question, why in the world did Naruto have hand jutsus and all that? Really not
We'll get to that at another time. Sure. Go ahead and give me a stealth check at a disadvantage.
Alright, at least I get to roll it.
And everybody give me perception at advantage. The cacophony of dice rolls.
That's a 21 perception.
Alright, stealth at disadvantage would put me at 21.
Fuck.
Nope, attacker wins.
Anybody else got a better
No,
perception roll?
no, I don't.
I mean, the wall, you still see her. The 21 essentially was the DC, so you meet it.
Okay.
Meet beats.
Okay. So nobody else sees her, but I'm just staring at her like, what are you doing?
To your surprise, this idea of the thaumaturgy, and what do you do with the thaumaturgy, by the way? Like, because you can make a loud sound.
I make the sound of like a herd of elephants coming through the town. Like right behind everybody that I'm talking to. Like,
Alright, you guys hear the raucous sounds of big heavy footfalls, trumpeting horns. It is loud for a couple of seconds right behind you. As you try to dip away, and surprisingly, you catch, like, everybody, like, jumps and looks for a hot second. The exception of the wall. He glances and then looks back at you as you're trying to dip. And you think that you're fairly stealthy. But the two of you meet eyes again.
And where do you think you're going, little Zero?
you named me Corvina.
I know what I said. Did I stutter?
I'm going to take out an evil church while you guys go save a wife or something. I'll be back. I might be covered in blood again, but I'll have a child.
Corvina,
Hi, did you see the elephants?
you can't. You cannot do this. I am a representative of Oman, as much as I some days don't wish I was, but I work for the city. Anything you do is associated with me.
So you can be the hero, take all the credit, that's
No,
fine.
you'll get us thrown in prison, and I will not be able to do anything.
Zeno, dear,
Corvina.
you will be a hero.
Not for murdering a hospital.
You guys start to hear the approach of boots. Hurried boots. Heading in your direction.
I'm gonna step back to the mechanic and just be near him. Well, get near me.
Corvina will step behind the wall.
I mean, I never left the mechanic, so apparently everybody is just stepping on this man.
Well, he would have been back up on his feet at that point. Alright, about another, 10 seconds. You guys hear the boots coming through. And in the direction that your thaumaturgy went off, it's about a half dozen guards come rushing up. What in the hell was that sound? And are you guys responsible for that?
It was elephants.
Why did you do this? At midnight. It is midnight.
Oh yeah, it is the middle of the night.
to the gods. The man is back to life and he is well again. Peace be upon you, and blessings to you and yours.
And why did you have to bring a man back to life?
We were walking and minding our business, and all of a sudden, out of the shadows, he was attacked. And whoever has the arrows, I said, can you please show the guards the arrows? He was attacked, and we pulled these arrows out of him as we brought him back to life.
Go ahead and, because I know part of that was not bullshit, but part of that most definitely was. So give me a deception check.
All right. Advantage?
No.
Maybe. All right.
Nobody's backing you.
Thanks, guys. Love you too. That would be an 11.
Hmm. He looks over the group and he does see the arrows. And last question before I have you guys come to the guardhouse with me. And he points to Zerelda as the wolf. Is your beast registered?
It's a druid.
Sir and madam, I'm gonna have to ask you to not be an animal. Wait, did you...
Shot in the dark. Is that an actual law, or is he just being a little power hungry?
Go ahead and give me a history check.
Or, well, since it was 15.
Yeah, because it's classist.
Would Zeno have advantage on laws of his own city? That he's
As a
expected in?
detective.
Actually, yes. I will grant you advantage on that roll.
Cool, a 16.
Definitely disturbing of the peace is a thing. So, the loud elephant stampede. Granted, that's going to be probably a misdemeanor.
But being a druid.
Yeah, being shape changed into an animal, probably not. Or for sure that that's not it's not anything that's against the law, so to speak. But there's really no procedure on arresting a druid that's in animal form. So this might be kind of one of those gray areas.
Kind of like using shouts in a town. There's not a law against it, but like, I just don't like it.
Yeah, kind of. Like it's hard to process like fingerprints whenever it's a paw.
What's the name of the captain that I've been working with?
I will have to dig through my notes that I don't have in front of me at the moment.
Okay. So can we just assume that I'm going to say his
Yes.
name? I'll just,
Yeah.
we need to speak with the captain immediately. I'm a detective with the city. You can run your background checks on me, Zeno. But we need to talk to the captain now.
It's funny you guys are going to be heading with me to the military district anyway. 2 birds with 1 stone. Come along.
Yeah, okay, sure.
All right.
Much as this might bite me, I'm not letting any of the guards get near the mechanic. Like, not actively pushing them away, but like if they're trying to grab his wrists or anything, I would not.
They're not being handsy with
They
you guys.
have no idea who he is.
Yeah,
He's just one of the people of this weird group.
Right, but we are already aware that Myriad has infiltrated the
Yeah, uh, none of them are like cuffing or anything like that. You guys are coming along peacefully so far, so they're not causing you guys any trouble with it. Um, and they figure with their numbers that they have you.
Oh,
I'm taking their names and badge numbers, by the way. Fucking, they're getting a nice smack on the paycheck.
Sure.
they think they could take us, but I will never fall. And
Okay.
I will also slap Corvina on the back of the head.
Off to the military district.
All right.
By the way, when they do background checks, are they just casting legend lore?
I'm gonna have to figure that part out. But this sounds like a good place for us to stop for the evening. It's 10 o'clock now. So we will pick things up next Thursday with you guys in the military districts and getting processed and having a conversation with the captain of the guard. This has been a long day for you guys. This is like 3 sessions or 4 sessions of like one really long night.
Just wait.
Oh, one dies.
Fine.
Whatever the month is in this world.
I'd have to look at the calendar for it, but like at this point, it's like January, the equivalent of.
Oh, what a night.
Da, 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 da.
Oh, what a night.
All right.
So above table, can we roll and see if I actually have a child in the bag of holding?
You do not have a child in the bag of holding.
He stopped you at the entrance.
You never made it in.
I mean, unless you just like grabbed one off of the street. But at this point, it's not a child; it's a felony.
And just to answer the first one, is Coruscant. The Taldorei calendar.
Oh.
Oh, thank you. But I will go ahead and end the stream. Everybody that stuck around, thank you very much. We appreciate anybody who comes in every week. And we'll be looking forward to seeing y'all next week as the story progresses. Thank you guys, and everybody have a good night.